I hope you all know this by now, but Steam is a pretty cool site if you want to download mostly any game that you would like. You know, you can find some games on there that are extremely old but are still amazing to play to this day. You can find some new games by indie companies and maybe give them a chance on what they have to offer. You can quite literally find any game on Steam that you want to play. Hell, if you wanted to play a sex furry dating simulator on Steam, they offer it. I don't know why you would want to play that though, that's actually pretty gross. However, some of the times, games that are just really good to play can be flat out removed from Steam. Some are for really good reasons, while others get removed for little to none. Today we'll be looking at the latter. Devotion is a first-person puzzle-like horror game that was released in February of 2019. The game was created by Red Candle Games, a Taiwanese-based development studio that is mainly known for this game and a 2D horror game known as Detention. Oddly enough, only 7 days after this game was released to the public, Devotion would be review bombed to hell and would be completely removed from Steam shortly after. This is because, well, the gaming studio that created Devotion is based in Taiwan, the game takes place in 1980s Taiwan, and the game itself included a nice old Winnie the Pooh meme that mocked the General Secretary of the Chinese Communist Party. Like, holy shit, bro, it's no secret that Taiwan and China absolutely despise one another for years on end, so for Red Candle Games to just pull this kind of stunt nonchalantly, they must have balls the size of Jupiter, god damn. Now, 3 years after the game was released, it is nowhere to be found on Steam, still removed to this day, with the only thing popping up on Steam if you look for it is the game's original soundtrack. So with that in mind, how is Devotion in 2022? Is it a great horror game that leaves the player utterly terrified, or is it just an awful game that deserves to never be put back on Steam? Well, why don't you all sit back, relax, and watch as a handful of mannequins teleport behind you and... No, fuck that, review is already over, I'm going nowhere near these lifeless demons. The game first starts off with you sitting on a couch watching some Breaking Bad. Alright, you know what? No more Breaking Bad memes, I want my viewers to actually stay and watch. Jesse! You hear a woman in the kitchen talk to you and mention the name Mei Shin, which brings you into a manic state, and soon enough, everything becomes pitch black. Upon waking up, you decide to leave your small apartment to see a very rundown hallway. After going through some repeated rooms, you encounter a lady looking like she just caught every form of rabies that has ever existed in the world. After she just leaps at you randomly, you enter a empty apartment room. You can read about some notes of how a lovely couple just moved into this apartment, with the couple being a male screenwriter and a female singing celebrity. After solving some puzzles of just moving into the apartment, you'll get a letter that was given to you by the celebrity woman now named Gong Li Feng, and you can soon establish that you're the screenwriter dude also known as Du Feng Yu. Once leaving the apartment room, you now get transported into the same room in 1986 with a bunch of creepy ass mannequins, bro, fuck them! Apparently in this apartment, the tradition of the birthday grab was going down, which is a celebration for all 1-year-olds who survived their first year. Usually during this tradition, all 1-year-olds will grab the item that symbolizes a future career that they will pursue. Once they grab the item, the parents will make sure that the child focuses on the career early on in their childhood so they can have a head start on their future lives. After doing this remake of a tradition, you can probably establish that this is not a paranormal activity going on, but is rather all inside Feng Yu's head. This would explain the manic state in the beginning of the game, why the woman did not hurt you at all when she grabbed you, and would also show that the mannequins are just simple placeovers of a previous event that Feng Yu was experiencing. Anyways, you can see the child doll has picked up the more performance-relating items, you know, the piano, the microphone, you know what it is. You can soon quickly realize that the child doll is the resemblance of your own daughter, Mei Shin. All throughout her life, she just wanted to sing and be on stage like her mother did, so that she can help provide her family. This really doesn't work out well, as you will soon be moved into a hospital reception room where you can figure out that your child has been dealing with chest problems and difficulty breathing. While in the hospital room, you can notice that whenever you are washing your hands, blood starts to show up, signifying that you've previously killed someone in your life. I mean, like, murdered someone. Like, in cold blood, the person you killed probably did not even had it coming. You were just a sick monster. You'll also notice that the doll, aka your child, in the patient's room is in so much pain due to the needles and the other doctor things that doctors have. If you go near the doll, you can see a little cutscene of you removing the needles, almost as if you're going against the will of the doctors to protect your own daughter. You can also find some ripped up x-ray papers of Mei Shin that's also on the table. Once you have explored the small hospital area, and once you have put together a seemingly good condition x-ray of a chest, you'll receive a phone call from this mentor-like person that wants to help your daughter. This seems like someone who is not a part of this hospital hospital for some strange reason. Like, no doctor wants to be called something like mentor, last name, as that's just something that a scammer would say if they legally could not call themselves a doctor. But whatever, once you leave the hospital area, you find yourself in a dark living room, and upon sitting down, you'll see your daughter attempting but failing at performing a song on live television. You see, apart from the unknown disease that your daughter has, she is also terrified of going outside and meeting random people. Mei Shin absolutely hates people that are not her own mom and dad, and because of her antisocialness and her weird disease, she does not even go to school. After watching your child fail miserably on live TV, you get put into a room with walls leaking red liquid and that one rabid lady on the ceiling. She starts to mutter, "Where's Mei Shin?" before dragging you down into the strange red liquid, and so now we can all come to the conclusion that this is Li Feng, your wife. But is she dead, or is she not dead? Where is she? Well, you know, maybe just watch the video and you'll figure that one out. So after witnessing that cutscene, you get put into the area that has you jumping through all the different time periods. To further the story, you have to go into 1980, 1985, and 1986 to dig up the memories of what happened there and why you have basically become a familyless schizo. I won't talk about how to solve these puzzles or even talk about the puzzles in general, as I would like you to experience the game. So instead, I'll just explain what happens in each place. 1980 is the year where you move in, settle down, raise your child, and live a nice, happy life with everyone growing old and fulfilling what they wanted to do growing up, is what I would say if that actually happened. Instead, you get to see Li Feng has left the show business to stay and take care of her family, and Feng Yu staying up late while having troubles writing new screenplays. You can even see that the study he had before Mei Shin's room was this horrible room filled with misery and rage. You'll also start to notice some trinkets and experts from ancient civilization legends just randomly lying about everywhere in every single apartment. These excerpts don't mean much starting out. The first one you find in 1980 talks about this farmer in poverty meeting a striped snake who helps the farmer obtain a shitload of crops. These trinkets that you find in actually even the beginning of the game are promised to have good fortune behind them, but they seem to be doing the exact opposite, as you can hear your own wife cucking you on the radio about it and talking mad shit about how these trinkets are costing a mad fortune and that you're focused on buying the trinkets is not actually helping the family and will end badly. You'll also notice that in the wardrobe of the only bedroom, Mei Shin loves to hide here if there are any guests in the apartment and will pretend that she's on stage singing her little heart out as a type of comfort. Aww. Oh, wait, yeah, no, she fucked it up when she actually did it. Well, do it better next time then. Now it's 1985, and upon entering the next apartment area, you're greeted with some notes about how Mei Shin loves her parents dearly, but how she feels trapped at home with nothing to do. You can also find the next excerpt of the Sigyu Guanyin legend, where it states that a novice monk fell ill, causing the farmer and the other villagers around to become worried. The snake serpent offers his own body and blood and tells the farmer to brew him into a specific type of medicinal wine to give to the monk. Oddly enough, the kitchen area of the apartment has a brewing pot to make this weird type of wine. I wonder if Mei is going to drink it and get fucking utterly wasted. After wandering around and finding some notes about Mei's condition and overall life, you get sent to this... What is this place? I guess it's like a puppet show to describe the plot, but in this place you get to learn that Mei regularly gets lied to about being able to go outside and play, and even about going on her vacation with her family. So in return, Mei decides that she wants to take her own medication that she doesn't like to consume in the first place and give the entire bottle to the fish. And just like that, the fish has died. Are you happy now, Mei? You just killed off an innocent fish with your goddamn perk 30s. You have no shame. After solving some puzzles with the dead fisheye, and after finally opening the suitcase, you obtain a book in which you get to tell your daughter a bedtime story in this minigame that I just did not expect ever. In this minigame, you have to platform from the right side of the screen to the left side as this girl is looking to obtain a mythical plant and some specific water to feed the plant that'll cure her father of whatever unknown disease that he has. After getting what you need from some plant god who gives you the seed, and after overcoming any obstacle in your way, the girl is able to plant the seed with her own tears, which grows into an orange tulip that can heal her father. You'll learn that Mei just loves this book the most, as it's mostly about her. You know, the father in the book with a deathly ill virus with nobody knowing how to fix it except for this family member who goes out to obtain some trinkets and healing items from the gods that'll help out her father. It's literally just like Mei's case, but with the roles reversed. 1986 is the final apartment in the room in chronological order. This room talks more about the mother and what happened to her that caused her to look like that thick. The first thing that you can pick up in the apartment is the last excerpt from the Sigyu Guanyin legend. In this excerpt, you read that the ill monk is now healthy once again to the snake's wine actually working, which causes Sigyu Guanyin to notice and to partner up with the snake, which now makes the snake more of a good luck charm to those who are ill. Are you guys noticing any patterns yet with the trinkets and the healing items and the unknown diseases yet? Just you wait until all the pieces of the puzzles are here. Anyways, you can enter May's room and chill out by the desk. If you do, you get put into May's shoes and have to listen onto your mother leaving the family to go back to work so she can help provide for everyone. You'll notice that this angers the father, as providing for your family is a man's job, so much so that they quickly start yelling. You'll also notice that Fang Yu has this horrible spending habit, buying trinkets and charms, all while having no money coming in due to nobody wanting to buy his scripts. He also apparently has a habit of offering money to Sigyu Guanyin so he can obtain her blessing to help Mei Shin. Anyways, arguing between the two parents continues on until something abusive happens off camera. I don't really know, as it just fades to black with Li Feng screaming to give it back. And after the argument is over and done with, you can head back into the living room to see the tattered dress that Li Feng always wears. And that's just about it with the 3 apartments, or almost everything, as just when you are done with one apartment, you have to go into one more to fill in the final piece of the puzzle to get the entire story. Like in 1980, if you plant the orange tulip that you receive after story time, you can go back into 1985 to see how the simple origami is treasured by Fang Yu, as Mei was able to take his torment and make it into something he treasures. In 1986, if you take the camera and place it into the 1980 tripod, you can see a cutscene of Mei playing the piano for Fang Yu's birthday. And if you fill the pot in 1985, you get to see how devoted Fang Yu really is when it comes to helping his daughter and trying to get any illness that she has out of her. But once you are completely done with every room, you get to go on to the next room that just repeats itself over and over and over again. Oh my god, is that Li Feng? What? What the fuck is going on?
I think you died.
Yeah, so this is like the actual spot where you can really fucking die. Li Feng, or the mental image of Li Feng, will chase you down and will drown you in this red-like liquid as she done previously. But if you just keep running down the corridors, you should just be able to lose her, reach an elevator, and watch as her final stretch towards you is her becoming human again and seemingly just wants to be with you and her family. After leaving the elevator, you can walk back into the door just to see Li Feng finally leave you and your family. It's now confirmed that Li Feng has never died, but her departure from her family caused you to imagine her as this type of demon that will do anything to get into the way of your relationship with Mei Shin. Now we reach the final stretch of the game. We now get to figure out what happened to Mei Shin and why you are into this mental state. Finally, you can open the door after not being able to for like half the fucking game, where you're met with a bunch of memories, some of you watching Mei Shin singing, others of Mei losing her shit and having worsening symptoms over her mother leaving. After witnessing them, you're just suddenly back at the phone talking to the mentor lady, where she gives you instructions to perform a Sigyu Guanyin ritual on Mei. After listening in on how to create the red wine and what to do, you meet yourself, talk to yourself, and learn that Mei can still be saved by completing the ritual. So in the next room, you do what the snake did in all the stories and absolutely sacrifice every part of your body to create this wine for Mei. After the wine is created, you are told to put Mei in this bathtub full of the wine and to lock her in there for 1 week straight so she can be cured. Now everyone, I gotta be honest and say that I am not a doctor, right? I have not taken any class to pursue a doctor degree or learn anything about healthcare or anything like that. I don't know much about health and things, but I can safely say that putting anyone into a locked bathtub filled completely with wine is a little dangerous. And for Mei, no, she died. Probably a painful death too. And soon, next thing you know, Mei is dead completely in a bathtub full of wine. So because of that, Fang Yu decides to call back the mentor, only to find out that the number has been blocked and the entire thing was a scam to begin with. Not to mention, once exploring this hospital room again, you can find that this disease was not physical at all and Mei just had a mental illness, most likely from social anxiety. So you, Fang Yu, find out that from the beginning, Mei had problems mentally, but your pride and love has made you deny all that happening. Instead, Fang Yu decides to buy any and every charm that could have a sliver of a possibility to heal Mei, which in effect causes the family to become extremely poor. So poor that Li Fang has decided to leave the family to re-enter the show business so that the family can have money once again. But you don't see it as that. You see that as Li Fang wanting to ruin the family, so you create her as this image of her being this demon, the bad guy, the main antagonist, when in reality she was doing the right thing. But now that Fang Yu had nowhere else to go with Mei Shin's condition worsening due to having no mother syndrome, he decides to do the ultimate ritual from what is now known to be a scammy cult, as its devotion to his daughter will make him do anything to help her. Little does he know that his own devotion is the reason of Mei Shin's demise, and now he's trapped in this cycle of torment for what he did. Goddamn, what a great story. With the story now out of the way, I would like to take a minute to talk about the actual gameplay, cause I'm not sure if I like it. The story I really enjoy. I think that is the driving factor of how good this game is. But I do feel like the gameplay wasn't as good as it could have been. Like, the horror in this game did not scare me that much. Of course, there were spots that were unsettling as unsettling can be, and there were a few good scares in the game, but I feel like most jump scares were predictable. You know, you're going around the corner and something hits the wall. Li Fang looks at you and pounces at you after some time. Stuff like that made me know it was coming towards me, and in return, I didn't feel all that frightened. Not to mention, some of the pacing just utterly slowed down immensely, especially when the 3-year doors came into play. The going back and forth with all the 3 timelines felt tedious, especially when the puzzles in the game aren't all that difficult. And although when you go back into the lobby to enter another year, a random scary event happens, I just did not like going back and forth. And with stuff like the storytime book completely derailing the game, I was not frightened at all. I just feel like more could have been added to the game. Like, maybe during the marble puzzle, the ceramic doll could just reach out at you when you're close to beating it, or maybe when Mei decides to change up what happens in the story, the book can become more and more corrupted, or just something like that. I just feel like the filler in the game could have been greatly expanded on and could have been something memorable in horror. All in all, the game is good, but could have been greater. The story is amazing and is very original, don't get me wrong. I recommend you guys play the game just so you can all experience the full story, but the gameplay should have had more to it, and I feel like if the game was scarier, it would have been one of the best puzzle horror games that I've ever played. But with that though, I'm gonna end this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys liked this video, maybe hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you all later. Bye for now.